listening to Inspirado, Projecto with Gert Glendenin.
All right. So you're out in Florida. What part of Florida?
I'm in South Florida. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I gotta jump off in a little bit, but I'm gonna leave you with this.
Yeah.
Who to say is the Joker is not the true king? Because if you look at a deck of cards, the Joker can be a king, and it can be any other card. And 9 times out of 10, you take the Jokers out of the deck because people are too scared to have it.
Oh, I never knew that. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. We've been having that Joker and King and Queen theme moving around rapidly. And to hear that is a really great piece of insight to add to the whole amalgamation.
Put it on the giblets.
Oh, yeah. Stir them right around in there. Stir them around. Stir them in the giblets and the morsalities.
This is more mortality.
Guys, I got to jump off.
Okay. Put on your parachute.
But I might read. If you guys are around in in 15, 20 minutes, I'll jump back on.
Okay, good. Make sure to wear your parachute before you jump.
See ya.
I've been holding in my hand during these conversations a rainbow moonstone. I'm going to read to you what this says here. Rainbow moonstone, stone of goddess energy, synchronicity, nurture, confidence. Let's see, helps balance feminine and masculine energies. Abilities, spiritual guidance, balances emotions, clairvoyance, personal power, soothes aggressiveness, recognizes your destiny, opens up to new paths in life, teaches us life lessons. Now, isn't that cool? We've been getting that whole thing coming on through.
Yeah.
The synchronicities, the life lessons, the psychic abilities, the personal power. My God, recognizing our destinies. I mean, sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this. I like this idea of attuning more clairvoyance into the mix.
Yeah.
Good, because that has a nice cumulative effect. Mm-hmm. You know, the more folks that are actively aware that, you know, their mind is bigger than their brain and it's infinite and that they can reach out, you know, in this way. If they're in that paradigm, the more of those folks that we're hanging out with, that we can basically cast a bigger net just by means of doing that. And if you think about what the heavy lifting can turn quite light.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that. Imagine someone who totally has the ability to just really tune in, you know, where they're like, I see it, I smell that future right now. It's you know, and we're like, okay, cool, you know, push the button. I mean, holy cow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think having this will be interesting. We'll do some divinatory meetings as well. It's like you get together and, you know, I already want to do some intention-based stuff with our crew, where we're basically going to create mastermind groups that are designed to basically manifest the intentions that are put out there.
Yes.
Like in a common cumulative way. We're basically using each other's ability to affect reality through consciousness by saying, okay, I intend to manifest this, and have everyone really kind of pitch in to the deck on that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you know, in a mastermind group, well, just to explain, if anyone listens and they want to check into this, it's useful stuff. Mastermind groups, which were popularized probably around the turn of the 20th century, early on in the 20s, 30s, 40s. Napoleon Hill was the writer. Basically, a lot of your motivational speakers and people that you know now, they can trace their origin back to concepts in the early 20th century that were put in front of John and Joan Q. Public, and they were basically concepts of magic. They were what it really was back in the day, though just sort of more universal, regular language and switch the terminologies around. And one of the concepts that was put forth mainly by a guy named Napoleon Hill, who's familiar with, wrote
Heard of that guy.
major influential book called Think and Grow Rich that has changed like tons of lives after reading this book for years and years. People swear by it because of the principles in it. One of the things was the idea of the mastermind group in Napoleon Hill's work. And this is a group of people that basically get together and they create an accountability for each other. And they go around and they discuss what they want to achieve, and they give each other ideas. And sometimes the group may have people that are involved in a similar industry or similar, sort of colleagues, and others it may be very varied and diverse. And they'll get together, and it gives different perspectives on whatever it is that each person is trying to achieve. And so basically the format is they'll go around and talk about what their situation is and what they want to do. The others will bounce ideas back and forth. They'll create a point of action and accountability so that when they come back for the next meeting, everyone can say, okay, did you do that thing? Well,
wow.
Did it work? And so they're incredibly powerful, and it goes into how decisions are generally made amongst people that are getting things done. That, at the higher levels, this is what's going on. This is what's going on, in big business, and people that, are action oriented, and they need to figure out how to do it. So it's an old concept, and it's effective. And I like the idea of being able to do it on a metaphysical level, metaphysica, beyond physical. Basically, it's our ability to manifest in an intention-based way. So we're really we can create an accountability field, but we can also create a provability field where we say, okay, well, if we invested consciousness in this idea, say for instance, for you, Kurt, you were like, okay, we want, an extra, 5 shows for Yachtly Crew this month, and we want it to be X, Y, and Z, or we want to play this place, or, we want to make this much money, or whatever it actually is that the goal is. And then everyone focuses their consciousness on boosting that intention. It's basically strengthening the Wi-Fi signal on that.
Oh, that is such a great way of doing it, because then it's in each of those paradigms, and now this whole Venn diagram has grown bigger and bigger and bigger. Wow, man. I mean,
and what I would add to that, if anyone wants to try it and give some results and feedback, because I think we're going to go and do this with our gang and see what we come up with. I think it'd be good, to fine tune some other things, especially for some events and some things we want to do, though, that we could say, alongside of that, or with that, we say, and if this intention is within the higher path and purpose of what is really right for this individual, that this happens, or something of equal or greater value happens instead.
Oh, that's great.
You don't even have to be locked into it.
Yeah, that's great.
We basically create the thing where we say, okay, this person's saying they want this thing.
Yeah.
And maybe on a conscious level they do. The truth of the matter is, if you want the thing and you are intended to have it, you're going to have it. So if it's actually another thing, that we could boost their signal and say, okay, well, you know what? If that's not really a true goal of yours, then we're going to help you by getting that out of the way and revealing to you the thing that is as good or better that you really is where you want to be.
It's great because
created the intention for their true life's purpose to manifest
Yeah.
Through just consciousness energy, just through making it.
It's great because you're kind of giving it that sort of, I don't want to say, for the lack of a better word, I'm imagining like, what is that? What's that word? Like a, not declaration, but like a, I don't know. It's like you're wrapping up that extra thing within it. You're leaving that little extra disclaimer. It's almost like a disclaimer, but not really. That's the only reason that word is the only one that's coming to me. But like going of greater, either this or, and also in addition to this possibility. So then it's so great because then it puts in that person's brain that, okay, good. My brain is not going to be set on this specific thing. It's great. I already know from the outset that I will already allow myself to be acceptable to this other thing. It's such a great way of saying it, because you're allowing them to practice the art of detachment and agreeing to the art of detachment without even realizing what that whole concept is. You're just kind of going, zip, there you go. It's in the contract, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's like a little extra something it's like a protection or a something that it's like a safety affirmation.
Yeah.
So that way, because you're at the point that you're going to let another's consciousness knowingly be involved in what you're up to. Because I think people do it on an unconscious level all the time. I think that's how people influence each other, is they allow someone else's consciousness, like either they're sharing in that field and they're like, yeah, you know what, I'll take that in. Yeah, that's, and not even as necessarily a negative thing. It's a neutral thing. It's just a matter of what is happening there, if you're growing towards what you want or not. Though in this case, it's like, because I know a lot of powerful psychic ability folks that could really benefit from healing or advancing if they could allow someone else to basically look or examine them.
And
because they're so defensive because of their experiences that they've gone through, they don't like that hasn't been allowed to happen at the point that could be allowed to happen. That basically brings in a lot of like actual like A-list players that have been sitting on the bench.
I mean, to do that mastermind, that group mind, that group harmony mind for these antennas that are already extended far out there, and tentacles tickling the stars, for them to becoming this harmonic thing of like an extra amplified signal. Oh my God, this would be nuts. I would love to be able to see if someone could bring an instrument there to see like the way that the colors are moving around the room at that moment. If there's some sort of instrument that could or draw the aura. Could you imagine you see the aura and it's all like, and everyone's aura is just like completely connected and like,
yeah, what I can, I think, well, actually, I mean, that adds a whole other element to it, in an advanced application of this, where we just hook it up to biofeedback, that it does things like controls the lights. And, I already know a few folks that work in that field of doing things that are VR related with biofeedback and meditation.
Oh my God.
And that we could actually do that. Sure. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? That you could even put it into music.
Oh, dude, it's so funny you say that, because I was just imagining, so that MIDI sprout, instead of connecting it to a plant, you connect it to these high vibrating clairvoyant people. Could you imagine the kind of crazy, awesome music that would be coming out of there?
I would love to hear it. I would love to hear what a MIDI would do with that.
Ooh.
These folks, especially like some of these folks, well, what, it would be interesting, because I'll tell you, I think a lot of them are out in the wild. And what I mean by that is, these are your guys that you pass late at night on the street that are like in their own world, because they just basically have gone so far out.
Wow.
That it's just like, getting one of these guys and being able to make a connection long enough to sit down in a park put on a piece of of biofeedback, or even just to be able to get them to sit down and do it, that we could maybe bring them back in as a result of that.
Yeah, because those are like the Wolf, what's the name? Emerson dudes. The guy who's the transcendentalist, just in nature. All they know is just nature.
Yeah.
That's the only language they know. Like that would be a really cool thing to see what kind of. I bet you that geologist dude. He seems like he would know some people who know some people who got the right equipment, the right everything that's needed for that.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I mean, at that point too, it's like, okay, well, what would you do? Because if you can imagine yourself, if you have lived in a type of psychical hell, for lack of a better term, basically living in your head and perceiving on a level that has just been painful, either through memories or through experiencing other realities that are non-local to you, or experiencing the current reality in a way that is hostile, or in a lower vibrational field. Maybe you see people and they look a certain way, or you catch a certain thing. At the point that those folks could be healed of that condition, because you have basically a group of other healthier psychics that could go in, and healers and light workers or what have you. They could basically go in and, hold out a hand and get them to tacitly agree to, a type of procedure where we say, look, can we just come in and meet you in the field right now? And then what we want to do is we want to create the intention that we can remove any of these blockages that you're experiencing.
Wow. I was just thinking too, okay, so imagine you put that MIDI sprout on those people and a MIDI sprout on the person who is, helping them heal. Imagine they're able to actually then hear their very own vibrations. And I think I was just imagining this as you were telling me this. I was imagining the person who's like out there, who's just been living in their head, just out there in the trees and whatnot. They get this, certain music coming through them. I just have this feeling that their heart, because I think we were talking about this, like, that every heart is hearing every other heart. It's hearing it. So if that's the case, how cool would that be? Is you have this heart, this high vibrating, like, heart that's just like love, love, love. This other heart that's just like, closed off from the world, very recluse. And then it just naturally starts blending towards it. So that now you hear these two things, sort of the hearts sort of jamming together. How interesting would that be?
It would be brilliant. It would be beautiful. And then we go and we take the MIDI samples and then we just scatter them around and put them up, hey, why don't you go ahead and put these up and use these samples in their DJ sets for people and music that you make. And now we've created a shorthand of what those heart signatures are.
That's great. Wouldn't that be great if they measured it and they turn out it's 432 HZ? Wouldn't that be awesome if just the natural, it's just there?
Yeah, I think people would dig it. I think they'd be onto it. It's like, what is that sample? It's like, oh, this was a guy getting like healed by clairvoyance through a MIDI sprout.
Ooh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I was thinking this too. Okay, so this thing, it has two little, I don't want to say electrodes, but like two little things you put on you. I guess it's the positive and the negative. Now imagine if you had one person with their finger on that, and then they lock hands with someone else, and they lock hands with someone else. You're creating a big U, so to speak. The last person puts their thumb on the other side of it, and the whole idea is you're all tuning into this great positive vibe. Could you imagine like what kind of music could come out of that?
Yeah, it's cool. There's some similar things I've seen at Burning Man in the installation art, where you make like a human connection and then the light and sound, and it could play different types of music and sound clips. And
wow.
There's we could find those folks that do that and actually come up. It would be cool to have a nice mobile rig for that. I think that you could bring something like that around, because then you could take it to some interesting places, like you could take it to places and sort of see, That's the beauty. We have all these technologies now that can allow us to add the biological element to it and see it in a whole new way, so that when you can move lights and sounds and things around in some sort of accord with whatever's going on with the body process.
Ooh, oh my God. I just had this vision. Okay, so let's say we do Hands Across the Stadium or something like that. Like back in the day, like Hands Across America. So wherever we're performing, every single person has at least got to grapple hands or put their arms on their shoulders so everyone's connected. So you got the one person with the one, little midi sprout thing for their on their thumb. Everyone's connected. Everyone's connected all through the thing. They all just decide, okay, we're going to cooperate. We're going to really become one tonight, before the show, before we really amp this thing up. We're all going to become one right now. And then that last person, it's like Doc Brown going, putting those things together. So that last person, they put their thumb on there, and they're all thinking the good vibes. Everyone in the stadium is thinking the good vibes. Whoa. And then you record that music, and everyone gets to hear that blasted out of the speakers.
We'll call it the love projector. Everybody make an intention for love, for the purest, highest vibration expression of love, and then just let put it on the jumbotron.
Yes, and what's so cool is that each frequency emits a certain color. So imagine we got some special equipment, and I've been wanting to do this, blending music with the colors. So the colors are matching the frequency of that music. So we get the, and everyone, and all of a sudden this machine is actually displaying, maybe on a big projector, who knows where, up into this, onto that was something else I wanted to try, was projecting things onto like a fog coming off a stage. So you actually see a 3-dimensional kind of image like kind of floating to you. I would love to see what that would be like. But I'm imagining like, these colors, they're going right in tune with the music that's coming from everybody's heart. Oh man, that would be so incredible.
Yeah. And we have the ability to do it now. Technically speaking, like that's. So yeah, we put this in the gold tree, man. This is in the intention tree. Like I think this is quite it's quite doable.
Man, I gotta tell you, between you and I and the people that I know and the people that you know and the people they know and they know, we have the people that we know who vibe with these kinds of ideas, and also are, in addition to that, handymen. They got their own particular crafts that they like to create. They're up to hijinks. They're merry pranksters. They like to, create a whole new reality. Oh my gosh. Like this is completely doable. We give these ideas to people who are like, are you kidding me? I mean, I would do this in my sleep, man.
Right.
Holy cow. I don't want to wait till Burning Man to do something like this. Yeah, let's do this now, and, they just want to leap on it now. It's just like anyone who's a cosplay person. Like these poor people, they got to wait for one convention or another convention. Let's give them excuses to really, pull out their crazy handiwork and show us those production designs. Like, man, let's go nuts. I mean, holy moly. We could.
Totally. And I think we're quickened by it. I mean, every one of these things that we do, I'm going to put out, a little video recap of what we did last week. There's going to be more stuff coming.
The resurrection. I would love to see that footage. That would be fun.
Yeah, it's coming. And
that'd be great.
And so each one building on the next. I think the thing that we've enjoyed the most is that we're enjoying it so much that it's just playing and having our fun and doing that. Now we're attracting the people that get that and want to do it. And like you say, between who who I know, and once they get out there, that's why I can't stress it enough. Just come out, connect with us. If you hear this, connect with us and be in on the, really the ground floor of creating it now. Like this is the kind of thing where like, you're going to have the interview like 30 or 40 years from now, a documentary where they'll be like, I remember the first time and only 3 people showed up. And it was so funny because, he knew. Just make sure you knew. I knew the whole time it was going to work. You knew too. We knew it was going to work.
Gosh. Oh yeah.
We knew
And
it was going to work
too,
for our own sake. Because
it's phenomenal that you're gathering like the Instagram people, like in those moments, like the guy who rode the bike and then he started video, recording us, and then we put the mask on him, and then he's like banging the drum. He's just a part of it out of nowhere. The little lady with the backpack and a little kid, and those kinds of things. It's like, those folks who are giving up those Instagram pages to you. It's great because for each of these new projects, you include them, within the tags, and now they're coming back and they're going, yeah, I had so much fun that one time. I want to be a part of this next crazy one, and I got a crazy instrument I want to, bring onto this, or I got a brand new cape or a crazy mustache, I'm going to bring along to this next one.
What other outlet do they have for that? Like, what do people have the outlet? They find things when they can, though for every 1 in 10 that's willing to live out loud in any capacity, you got 8 or 9 that wouldn't even know how to do it. And it's like, okay, well, sure, we could be in a theater and do it that way. Yeah. Though when you're out there on a street corner or you're on a train, you're really at ground zero. You can connect on that level too, where it's like there's no bar to entry there on that level. And that's
heck, if it was a Weird Al song, it would be "It's Theater at Ground Zero." I think that would be the song for that. It's great because it takes it out of trying to go, come on, everyone, come see my play in this little theater. It's 30 seats, and going, hello, everybody. All of you are the audience. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know you didn't know that? You with the camera, you didn't know you're in the audience right now. Yeah. And it's free. We're not renting the theater. Oh my God. And we got just free, just participators who want to be a part of it. It's a great homing beacon that goes, boo, 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 boo. Do you relate to this? Does this resonate with you? Ooh, ooh, ooh. And they're like, oh yes, it resonates with me. And next thing you know, you got someone dancing with you on a train platform. Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's like, that's a magic moment. It's like they have that. Then they took the picture. They go back, they look at the picture. They have that. That's a memory that might live for many generations to come.
Oh my God.
That little girl
with
the mask. It's like, you got the mask and dance, and oh no, wait, you hadn't danced before, and now you're dancing in public on the corner of the street in front of traffic, and you're loving it, and your family and everyone, and you're making a magic memory.
Oh my gosh, especially those folks who, that family was just like, you know what, there's nothing to do. It's a great night. Let's just go out for a walk. Let's see what's going on out there in the world. And all of a sudden they come across that, and what a beautiful nugget. Yeah, they get to share with whoever they talk to. Like, you would not believe it. There were these, I don't even know how to describe them. Were they street pirates? Were they aliens in human skin? I don't know what was going on. Someone was blowing a ceremonial flute. Someone else had a ceremonial drum. And then this guy came up and he threw on a mask. And then my kid put on a mask. I mean, it's just like, oh my God. It just grew and grew and grew. It's like a freaking bonfire.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really have some stuff that I want to do that I think is just going to be even more sensationally whimsical and dreamlike, and it's just going to be stuff that it's going to require more steam behind it. That when we get there, it's really like a touchstone. It's really like a turning point for the whole idea, and I have a pretty clear vision of it, and it really has to do with the sense of play that we reinvigorate in people, and doing it in this way that as we gain steam in what we're doing, that it can't reasonably be ignored. You can't just, you can react to it however you like, though, like at the point that you ignore it, like, and it's funny because like even we did Sages of Sovereignty, and you guys are laying there with sheets covered over you in an empty field in front of the stage, with people watching all around, the DJ's just starting their set, and here you guys are laying like dead bodies in the noonday sun. And there were people that tried to just ignore you and act like that wasn't happening, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. It's like, oh no, that's not happening.
The real entertainment is the reaction of the audience. That's what's beautiful about it, right? It's like we become the audience. They're the actual performers. It's a human behavior experiment. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, more is the pity. I didn't have, really, because I didn't have a camera guy on it doing the crowd reactions stuff for the people's reactions. Though I have I have at least like one piece, because it's a wide shot of you guys just laying there in the empty field.
Oh, great!
And you see a group of people up by the stage, and they're just sort of milling around. They're just like right there, like, okay.
Oh my god! And then of course when we flew through the people under the tents, that too was fun too.
That I think that was really something, because when you were resurrected and you flew through the crowd with your capes. The body bags become capes, and you fly through the crowd, and that part I think was a lot easier, because I really saw little flash bulbs popping off with people remembering what that was like to just play at that level. And they just, I know that it was like, these guys are really having a good time. Some people probably thought we were on some psychedelic drugs. We were not on any kind of drugs for that.
It was funny too, because at first I'm sure they were worried, like, oh no, I don't know, like, what's next, because they're living in the unknown. They're like, I don't know what's next. Is this good? Is this bad? What are my decisions? What are my belief systems about this? What am I going to tell my church group? I don't know what to say. Should I call 911? Are those guys okay? Are they dying from stuff? A bazillion ideas. And all of a sudden, the wizard wakes us up, resurrects us up from our hibernation. Oh my God.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because when people are only given this narrow frame of reference, like, if you see something strange, report it, because it's gonna be bad. If you give them some other frame of reference, like, oh no, wait, like, this was a fun thing. He wasn't wearing that star cloak, and he was going to come in and assault me or anything. He just wanted to play chase.
Oh my God. So,
like, and
the kids,
it's
all the
funny,
kids,
like, they can get away with doing that stuff now. To me, it's funnier when we have like maybe 300 bodies lying there, and then please go ahead, act like nothing's going on.
Dude. Well, next year that'll be our annual thing. Make sure to do that. Yeah, more and more bodies will show up. It'll be like the Fibonacci sequence. There'll be so many bodies on that open field.
Yeah.
People that will become the main entertainment to go to. Do you realize how packed they'll get in there? But only in that back area, because they want to make enough room for all the bodies.
Yeah, well, I don't want to. I don't want to crash their 4th of July event every year.
It'd be funny.
I think what's more interesting is we'll just put that in the rotation. We'll have resurrection days, and I think having people come out, because it's easy. You come out with a sheet and get rebirth. Interestingly enough, because we had our one of our friends, he had some big more insights, because this goes back to the podcast that we had that day. What was the name of that? That was it was the 4th of July podcast.
Oh yeah,
Inspirado.
Oh yeah. The Wizard of LA, I believe I put in there, or 4th of July Independence. Know your independence, or something like that.
Yeah, like what actually happens in the aftermath of lying still for 10 minutes in a public space under a sheet. And, we talked to Michelangelo in that too. He had a lot more to actually say about it after the fact. And he gained an incredible amount of knowledge. And it was funny, because he said, in the end, he's like, I figured it out. It wasn't the sheet. That's not what it was. Like, that was, it wasn't this base thing of you did this ritual and you lied under the sheet. He's like, that wasn't what gained the knowledge for me. What gained the knowledge for me was and I don't want to even paraphrase what he had to say about it, though it was important. I found that he saw beyond the ritual, that the ritual has a purpose, that all rituals have a purpose, though, to not get stuck in it being about the ritual, and to be able to see the thing that the ritual is designed to do. Because at the moment that you wipe your feet at the door, that is a ritual. Okay. It has a practical purpose. You're cleaning your shoes, it's a ritual. Like, you have to, to see it for what it is. These things convey ideas in broader terms through an association of doing the thing.
Yeah. You got to do that before you enter the door, before you can really truly have your feast. Like the main point was the feast. You know, the wiping the feet at the door is just a kind of a secondary, kind of sort of a like, okay, here we go. Okay, but this is the main thing, and that's the great thing when you're not treating this, you know, what may seem to be like a shocking thing. So this is what makes it so great is when like Monty Python, those guys. There's a shocking thing, but it's beyond the shocking thing. There's a different thing. The shocking thing is just a byproduct. It's just something a smell in the wind.
The shocking thing is the window dressing. The shocking thing is the sizzle. It's not the steak. And I think that's the big difference with our group is some people consciously do weird things. Yeah. And it's the sizzle and the steak for them. So I think, you know, to get a little deeper, I don't think anyone is really, I think they know that they know. So I don't think anybody really isn't a part of it, even if they just aren't aware that there's a deeper thing. Yeah, and also certain folks who are just not putting that kind of importance and power on there. It's like like going, I'm just ignoring you. I know you're there. I see you back there. I see you at the corner of my eye, but you're in the peripheral. You know, it's like this is the thing. You know, so you know that's just like you know, it's like that extra little nuance in the orchestra. You're not expecting the freaking theremin to come out. Like, wait, what? Did I just hear a theremin? You know, and then it's back to the song. So it's just like I see you there. Here we go. Yeah, I think it's like it's not the thing. The thing that makes it weird or wild is the sizzle, and the steak is actually what you take away from it internally in your consciousness and your vibration. Because I mean, we were high, man. You know, after that whole thing. I mean, you look at how that day was. It was a beautiful, magical day. And such a simple thing. It didn't require mass quantities of any kind of addictive substances at all. You know, it didn't require buying things. You know, and we came across a guy who makes dinosaurs, for crying out loud. How crazy is that? Beautiful dinosaurs. Oh my God. And your buddy who was just up in the mountains talking to the trees. How awesome was that? Yeah. He and his girlfriend have to be there with their dog. Like, these are folks that I think would be great the short discussions I've had with these guys, just wonderful vibrations. And it's great that Michelangelo came to those revelations. And imagine for the next, Wizard Walk, those guys show up. I'm really going to find out what time we got to set up on that. I really hope you can, man. I think about you not being able to be there, and I don't want to entertain that reality. I respect it if it has to happen that way. Yeah. Because I know it's like whatever you're going to do, like we're on the point of it now. Like we're on to it and we have the fire. So I know, like, if you're working in one corner, I'm working in another corner. We're getting it done, and we're doing it. Though in this case, I mean, I just think about what you brought to the last one, and it's just like it made it sing, man. Like, because you get it in a very essential way. Oh, man. It's not like, oh, this is something fun to do on a Friday. No, like, you get it in a very deep, intuitive way. Yeah, and that's vision, the kind of stuff that, like, that's bright light to throw out for people. So it's like, I know for you to be there, it's like the lighthouse strength goes through the roof at that point, and you can really see it off in the distance. And so, man, I get it. If you could get yourself or any of those guys there or whatever, even if you only could make one stop, like if you had to do it later, and you're like, I can do one train ride with you. Then we're out. Yeah, that would be great. Oh yeah, dude, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh yeah, I could just even if I was able to only hang out like let's just imagine that I at least have an hour. Heck, why not? Somehow, strangely enough, 3 hours. Okay, so let's say best case scenario, we got 3 hours before I got to get to where I got to get to set up for Yachtly Crew, and then worst case scenario, a half an hour. If I know I only have a half an hour and it takes a half an hour to get, to do the train forward and back, oh my God, that'd be great too. If I could somehow
cobble that that nutritious mathematics into my day. That would be awesome.
Let's put the intention out. That
Yeah,
we can
let's
figure out
do
a
it.
way to do that. And
Yeah.
that would be great. Are you going to come? You come in costume, right? You come dressed for
Oh
Yachtly
God,
Crew
that would be funny.
and
Well, we
throw a
usually get
mask
dressed
on.
at the thing, just especially now because it's so hot out. God, that would be great. Oh my God, that would be great. Oh
Yeah,
man.
please invite the guys along. I mean,
Oh
I would
my
love
God.
to.
Oh my God.
If I could build, if you do think like, there's more than one of you, I mean, we could probably pull together like a little cardboard boat or something.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Oh my God.
Just
cardboard
set sail on top of the,
Oh yeah.
raised platforms at the corner.
Well, I tell you,
scenic downtown LA. You just haven't lived until you've seen that.
Well, it's so funny. If you'd like to be a part of this crazy project, I was talking with my pseudo brother, Paulie Shores,
Stony Shores,
and I was talking with him, and he's big. He's got saxophone. He loves jazz. He's so good at improvisation. I love to record our conversations, and I'm like, dude, let's say if we have the Shores brothers, band where it's just purely experimental. We do, spoken word like the blues and haikus, like Jack Kerouac would, And I was talking with him about that. He's like, oh, that'd be great. He goes, what if we call the band Shores? And I said, oh yeah, and we'll spell it SSHORESS. So it's like shores, like the ocean, And he's like, oh yeah, it would be called Shores. So we want to create that, and it would be great to see how you would add your craziness to that.
I can think of some cool things like just off the top of my head, how mobile could you be with that operation?
It just would have to be with, if he just happened to have his saxophone.
Okay. All right. So at that point, like, yeah,
I can have pre-recorded songs too that play out of a speaker or something, which would be great because then I can just, play like kazoo or who knows, anything else, a ukulele or whatnot. On top of that,
sexy slide whistle in there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I can think of. Again, I feel like a cardboard boat might be involved in this.
Yeah.
She could actually put it around a couple of people. They're just sitting there quietly, and then you guys come up and play. Just set the boat around.
Slowly.
You know what? I think it's good. I think throwing life preservers out and being able to it's just
I didn't accept it because I didn't know if it would allow me to wait. No, I don't know how to do that right now.
Did you get him? I'm good until the top of this one, and then I think I'm gonna get on to conjuring some dinner for myself. So
Be
we just heard there was a test for, I did a test in GarageBand for a song that popped into my antenna, and I think I might have played a different version for you as well. This was the original one. I had originally recorded on GarageBand, and the premise is these guys on a ship, kind of like a perfect storm kind of thing, slightly, you know, like that kind of idea. They're just way out there. So these guys on the boat, and they're just way out there in the ocean. And the waves are just weird and crazy and choppy and strange. And all these guys basically are, you know, maybe they're accidentally on some kind of fishing boat or something. They're somewhere where they're not supposed to be. But they all play instruments. So they all got instruments on the boat. All of a sudden, this shadow, this monster, like, they can't quite tell what it is. Just like these tentacles, like flailing around. Just huge creature, Leviathan, just emerges in the middle of the night, and it's lightning, and it's raining, and it's thunderstorming. Every time the thunder goes, every time it crashes, you see like the silhouette of this thing. And you see another piece of it. You can barely see little corners of it as it's there in the nighttime. And what happens is these guys go, okay, we're gonna die. We're gonna die out here. Either with this big old monster. You know, we might as well, if we're all gonna die, we always might as well play music. So everybody on the ship decides to put their music together and record together. Maybe someone plays the violin, maybe someone plays the oboe, maybe each person kind of plays this thing. Even the one guy plays a washboard or something. Maybe he's made some interesting drum set out of the. Maybe he's made an interesting drum set out of the various pipes and purple.
Purple entering Wilshire Western. This is the purple entering to Wilshire Western.
So, yeah, these guys realize that they're out there, they're in the world, they might die. So they decide we're going to go down playing. You know, some would say, oh, we're going down swinging. Well, they're not swinging. They're going to be playing their hearts out. And somehow, through jamming, they end up sort of lullabying this creature to sleep. They sort of end up lullabying it. You know, maybe it sings along with them. But it's that moment of just like, okay, here we go. And I think one of the, Cloverfield is a big idea, and also Moby Dick. And also, there's this part in the movie, Glory? No, Daniel Boone? What is it? Daniel Boone is in it. Billy Bob Thornton is in it. It's a movie about... Is it... Alamo, that's what it was. And he hears their band over there in the distance. And he brings out his violin and decides to jam with these guys. That was such a phenomenal moment. Remember when I was substitute teaching at that time, these kids, they had to watch this. As soon as I came across that, I had to play that moment for each kid. I had to replay that for them and point out to them why it was so significant or astounding. What made it so important? Why did it strike a chord with me? That's what it kind of reminded me of. This idea of the fisherman guy, musician fisherman guys out there lulling the monster to sleep. Wow, what a bunch of superheroes, huh? I'm imagining those kinds of guys, like you see that statue. There's always that statue, the guy who is in a yellow raincoat. He's got a big white beard and a pipe in his mouth. He's just standing on like a pier, standing out there in the middle of the night with his pipe, contemplating life out there in the rain. How did a train get past me like that? What? I thought I heard a train pulling up here. It sounded like he was coming from the left. And then the right, I heard like as if it passed by or something. Boy, that was interesting. A Twilight Zone episode, huh? This whole day's been like that, which is just the best. Wouldn't it be great to like when you tell stories to people, all of your stories revolve around incredibly extraordinary circumstances? How fun would that be if every story that you're telling, based on your, following your synchronicities, following your intuition, following your joys, passions, excitements, by simply doing that, we come up with these great stories we could share them with people. Like, what the heck? How the heck did they find yourself in that situation? Well, let me tell you, found myself pondering it here at this moment in time, and then bam, I saw it manifest at this point in time. Here's how it was originally envisioned. In fact, here it is in the idea book. Okay, I had originally envisioned it like this. It was like a movie. What's interesting is it manifested this way, as some sort of Lego movie, let's say, or imagine it as a poem. It ended up as a musical. I intended it as a percussion thing with margarine containers and tin cans and washboards. I envisioned it like that. It came out like the Blue Man Group. Tickling that fancy, the fan, see? Tickling the fancy, fancy, the S-E-A-S-E-E, fancy, a sea of fans, a sea of fans. That might be an interesting name for a side project. Fancy. It could be about like some science fiction thing where it's the basically third fan, quote unquote, in a series of fans like that are like androids, robots that are designed biologically, digitally, zeros and ones, and perfectly fit to go out to concerts of up-and-coming bands to really scream and shout and just be there like the Band-Aids, like in Almost Famous. So it's called Fancy. Maybe they do. They blow cool air on whoever's on stage. Like maybe when they clap, the harder they clap, the more of a nice wind, cool wind blows in for the band that they love. So maybe these gals, programmed fans, go out to these shows. Maybe they're paid for by the record companies. No one knows they're androids. They go out there, they're just there. They just applaud the bands. Fancy. It's the third. She's kind of like a host, like in Westworld. She wakes up to the idea, oh, wait. Can I reprogram myself? Bam. Ooh, maybe some hacker finds her out. Right, some guy who's searching for, like, the credit card. He's got, like, the credit card device thing or whatever. And he actually finds, like, what? And leads him to the fan C. And, maybe every night, usually they return back to the laboratory wherever they come from. Well, he somehow finds out what's going on and reprograms her. So he uses her to hack into big-time corporations that are just evil corporations, and hacking into all the evil politicians, utilizing Fan C. Oh. Intriguing. Fan C. There you go. If you see it out there in the world, folks, you know where the seeds came from. We built it together, huh? How cool was that? Keep that in mind.
You're listening to Inspirado Projecto.